a lot of fluff around AI and chatbots and all those things, right?
Yeah.
Why Genie from your perspective?
Okay, so like I was talking to a customer yesterday and I was explaining, you organize your data in Unity Catalog and you put it in a Genie room and you ask some questions. And the first couple times you ask it the questions before you give it instructions, it might have some wrong answers. And the guy grabbed me, he's like, no, it's always right. Like, I thought that too, but I'm like, no, it's not always going to be right because you might have, I was like, basically, if it's always right, you have very well structured data. There's no like hidden predicates where you have to say, and customer name, bang equals Databricks. Because like Databricks usage is mixed in with the customer usage.
Yeah.
Like you have clean data. If you've done great work around data cleanliness, then yeah, Genie will always be right.
That's not always how it works in the real world.
Right, no, exactly. And when people say, then the people that say, okay, sometimes Genie's wrong, I'm like, well, the analysts that give me data are often wrong too. But the meta point is we do something very unique in Genie. There's tons of, everybody has a product, you can talk to your data now. But we have a very active ML research team, and it's like the best thing we got out of the Mosaic acquisition is the brains, the people. And they're constantly decomposing this Genie problem as a multi-agent framework and having different mini models do different validations. LLM judges are constantly like it's kind of where we walk the talk. Like we talk about all of these ways you build AI systems, and we've done it in this capsulated way. People that create a Genie room, they know their own data. And it's kind of magic to them that this other seemingly sentient being knows their data too. But it's just all of these techniques applied that we've learned in research and with, tens of thousands of customers and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, and I've gotten to work a little bit with a lot of the Databricks engineers behind the scenes, and I know a lot of the effort and a lot of the mechanics and everything that they're doing to be like, to make it as accurate as possible, as reliable as possible, and as consistent as possible, and even a step further, make it governable. If that's even a word.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's the other thing people don't realize, that none of your data is going to the LLM.
Yeah.
We're just telling the LLM, hey, write a good SQL statement based on this metadata of Unity Catalog. And Unity Catalog, the all-seeing thing, has a lot of metadata about your data, So those things are put together in a way that's very potent. People know, because here's the thing. With LLMs, oftentimes you don't know if it's giving you the right answer, right? Because it's generative. But when it's answering questions about your data and you put together the room, it's very easy to validate. You see the SQL. You can run the SQL. The SQL has the logic you asked for in it. It's kind of like you're seeing the proof that the system's correct while you're seeing it act correct. And I think that's where people get fascinated because it's provably true.
So you mentioned the ability to see the SQL inside of Genie.
Yeah.
What if I don't really know how to use SQL?
Exactly. So Chow, I don't know.
He posted my buddy.
A great thing today about like, just for newbies, like the 3 phases of using Genie. And the key is, first you create a room on data and you ask it questions, and you see how it phrases the SQL and stuff like that. I know data. I can know instructive questions to ask it. And then you get the question and SQL answer pairs that are exemplary for the data you put in the room. And you just grab those and you put those in the instructions tab. And you do that for like 5 questions, and then you go a little deeper, a little harder. So spend 10 minutes with it yourself, because you know the data, and ask really deep questions of the data, and do that and just grab the questions and answers and put them in instructions. So then your expert knowledge of how to ask questions of the data is encapsulated in the Genie instructions.
Yeah.
And then you ask a couple friends that know SQL to come into the room. That's the minute 20 through 30.
Yeah.
And they play around with it a little bit, and they see if there's any edges, and they thumbs and downs and ups and stuff like that. And then once you've done that, then you add some 10 business people that don't know SQL, but you get your friends that know SQL to kind of monitor the questions and the answers.
So almost like a modified type of development life cycle, if you will.
Yeah, but it can be super compressed. And then within, a few hours, you can have a viable thing you can share with thousands of people at your company.
Yeah. One of the things that I think we did at SEB was for a customer, we built using the Genie spaces and Genie. I always forget, are they Genie spaces, Genie rooms now? I forget.
They were Genie rooms.
Okay.
And then they became Genie spaces.
Okay, yeah. I always get them confused.
But now we're going to have new kinds of Genies. We're going to have like the deep thinking Genies.
Okay.
And then are those still Genie spaces, or are those like Genie salons? We got to figure this out.
We'll see. You guys like to change up the names.